we are introducing another organization to be commencing to start very, very soon. But we know, in spite of everything, that some of you will not understand, some of you will not get it. And so, we say this to all of you, that if you don't get it now, you will.
Never gonna get it, 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 never get it.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to start this with Teddy Pendergrass, and he's going to talk about the town and how they're laughing. But remember, he who laughs last. I don't want to do a George Bush. I'm just going to end it like it's supposed to be ended. Laughs last. You can fool me once, you can fool me twice, but don't try to fool me a third time. You remember when that idiot said something stupid like that? Excuse me. Go, Jennifer. She sees me on the telephone, and so she wants to come and play, but I don't have time to be playing. In the palm of my hands. And I lost it. And I lost it. Alright. Ladies and gentlemen, there are three things we're going to talk about today. Let's get rid of the first one because I think it's the most important. The videos where we've shown you where all homes are insured by the United States government in one fashion or another, either through the U.S. Treasury Department or the FHA, Federal Housing Administration, or Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac being insured by the United States Treasury. Okay, it's just the way it is. There is nobody who can argue with that. Just like the attorney who you heard on the telephone yesterday, who it's his business to know this stuff. How he says, you're right. I wasn't asking him if I'm right. Did you hear me ask him a question? Do you think I'm right about this? I don't need them to tell me I'm right about this. I know because I've done the research. I've made the telephone calls. That telephone call shows you that I've made calls and that I am relentless. I don't let an issue go. I've been talking to these idiots since January of this past year. When I told all of you I was going to start making those calls. I haven't stopped. But let's help you understand about full faith and credit. Does anybody know what the word "and" means? A-N-D? I don't want you thinking I'm saying A-N or A-N-N. I'm saying A-N-D, alright? Not A-N-D-Y, but just A-N-D. Anybody know what the word "and" A-N-D constitutes within a sentence? Oh, Mr. Carter, I know. Okay, Vinny Barbarino, what's the answer? I forgot. Ladies and gentlemen, and the word "and" conjunction, junction, what's your function? Gonna get you there if you're very careful. That's where I learned the word "and" is a conjunction. It brings things together. So let's put something together. Full faith, 100%. 99.99.99.99.99.99% proof. Full faith. Full 100%. Okay, so full faith. Oh, I has faith the size of a mustard grain. Not that type of faith. Confidence is the type of faith this is talking about. Okay, I got confidence, so much confidence that they need to give me some disconfidence. Okay, you just hold on to your confidence over there in the corner by yourself. No. Keep your confidence over in the corner. We don't want nobody to steal it from you. That's right. You go off in that corner and just sit there. Right there you go. Now, you stay right there until we come get you, okay? All right. Full faith and credit. So it equates to full faith and full credit. So some of y'all haven't been listening, because I've been saying this for the longest time. Equal protection of law. If the United States government has full faith and full credit, then you have the right to the exact same thing that it has. And according to Public Law 93224.224, that law tells you that the United States government borrows from the public, from the people, in order for it to acquire things. So it's borrowing from your full faith and your full credit. But it's not paying you back. Excuse me. They owe me. Oh, so I can get this on credit because they owe me, and then you can take it out of that? Okay, that's what we're going to do, okay? All right. They owe me, and so you're just going to take it out of what they owe. Now, there's a Huey's Christmas in the Boondocks. If you haven't seen Huey's Christmas, please watch Huey's Christmas, the Boondocks series. It's a cartoon for some of you who don't know. Watch the edited version, please. Gotta keep it PC. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, I like Riley because he tells Santa, you gonna pay what you owe. Because Santa has been supposed to be delivering gifts to his house. They lived in the projects where there were no chimneys, and Santa never delivered. So he sees Santa in the mall, and he has this nice little, it's like a pellet gun, and he's shooting up Santa and shooting him up and beating him up and hitting him with chairs. Now, it's Santa when he gets up from the floor, and he says, y'all just gonna sit there and watch Santa get his kicked? Oh, ain't that about a stupid mother... You know, he just goes off. That I like. But the thing is, when Riley tells Santa throughout the show, you gonna pay what you owe. How come we're not saying that to the United States government? How come we're not putting together a mass action lawsuit against the United States government with the United Nations? We have the proof that they're borrowing from us. We have the proof that we've dissolved all trust relationships due to breach. The little benefits that they provide, that's not helpful. That's not equating to what they're borrowing. They're borrowing your full faith and your full credit. And they're not compensating you for it. They're not paying you back. So what are you going to do? Huh? You feel lucky? Huh? So what are you going to do? Punk? Well, tell you what we're going to do. We're going to write a letter to the Treasury and to the Federal Reserve. We're going to demand a letter of credit from them based on that law. We don't need to put too many other laws in there. Public Law 93224. Even put the quotation where they borrow from the American public. Okay? Let them know that you're going to give them permission to continue to borrow from you. And you're going to presume and assume that by giving them that permission, they are extending to you a line of credit. You get what I'm saying? What I'm going to do is I'm going to demand a letter of credit from them. Because I have that right. Because I have a declaration that says I am one of the people of the United States of North America, and it has gone unrebutted. Not a single person has ever rebutted my declaration. I say that I am one of the people and that I'm a member of the public. Really? You can be one of the people and a member of the public? Because they're two separate groups. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this video I'm going to walk away from and come back because I got 5 more minutes. And then we have our conference call with the Legal Redress Commission, Readers' Right Organization. Okay? Got a lot of things to talk about. So we're going to continue this, but that's one angle. The next thing we're going to send to the Federal Reserve and tell them the exact same thing, that we want access to our credit. Because they're the keepers of the gate. They're blocking access to our credit, and we want access to our credit. The Federal Reserve and the United States Treasury. They're blocking access to our credit. We want access to our credit. Again, if the United States has full faith and credit. The 10th and 9th Amendment says they get that from the people, and nothing in the Constitution delegates any authority to the United States government to have the people's full faith and credit. And by the way, they don't have my full faith. I assure you of that, because I have no confidence in this government. Now, the credit issue, because it's retained by the people, any power is not delegated within the Constitution, is retained by the people. So your credit, because the Constitution does not talk about credit, your credit is yours. It's retained by you. But first you have to be one of the people. Now that's just me saying that so you get around that loophole, because they will bring that up. They'll say, you ain't one of the people, you ain't part of that agreement. Excuse me, doesn't matter if I'm part of that agreement. You're still borrowing from my account. Because yes, there is an account. If the government borrows from the public, then that means there is an account associated with the public. Public Law 93-224. It's a short section. It's one of the first couple of paragraphs. The Federal Financing Bank Act is what it's called. Just type it in. Federal Financing with the ING Bank Act. Okay? That's the bank that's borrowing from you. And I guarantee you, you even may have an account with that bank since they're borrowing from the public. Haven't talked about this with anybody else. Just started thinking about this tonight. So I'm going to tell it all to you all. Period. Just that simple. Ladies and gentlemen, I know that I'm causing some waves. I know that I'm bothering some people. I know that they're paying attention to these videos. I know that. I don't care. I know I'm not afraid of them shutting me up or coming and trying to shoot me and tranquilize me and take me off to one of their secret facilities so they can do experiments on me by aliens from outer space. I'm not concerned about stupid stuff. What I am concerned about is that on average within the first week, if I put out 6 videos, I'm getting 3,000 views amongst those 6 videos. That's what I'm concerned about. 3,000, they tell it to a friend, they tell it to a friend, they tell it to a friend. Getting the word out. Again, do not advertise. I will not advertise with the readersright.org site and the Readers Right YouTube channel. It really is just that simple. I will not advertise. Why? Because there's no reason for me to advertise. I'm not in this for the money. And once somebody starts paying for advertisement, then we become subject to their form of political correctness. And I don't want that. I want total control if I ruled the world. All right, let's talk about Gene Elkins for just a minute, because I got about a couple of minutes before my phone starts ringing. And when it rings, I have to put you on hold. But then I'll come back and we'll finish. Oh, no, I'll have to stop the video because it won't stay on hold for that long. Now, notice it's going to be 9:54. When I come back, it's probably going to be 11:30 or later. Because I'm 4 hours ahead of California, 3 hours ahead of New Mexico, Texas, 2 hours ahead of Louisiana, 1 hour ahead of New York, and on time in Puerto Rico. Mr. Elkins, a individual who has had his job for quite some time, knows the law. He said yesterday that it was procedure for the banks to foreclose on the home first and then collect on the loan. Now, many of you didn't get that, and when I come back, we're going to talk about the whole Gene Elkins thing and explain to you so you get the basics of that fraud that he was saying that is procedure that goes on all the time. First, the banks filing a so-called insurance claim after they foreclose, after they buy back the house, after they credit your account. Well, most of the time, until we started mentioning it, remember, the banks were not crediting the account the full amount that they were selling the home for. Okay, just something they didn't do. Give me a second, y'all. somebody just, sorry, I gotta say something to him because one in the commission is sending me a message, and I gotta go.
What?
Because it wasn't a complete sentence. But, you know, my latest, my greatest inspiration. Okay. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Gene Elkins said that the banks procedurally foreclose on people's homes. And then, after they foreclose on the home, they go after the loan guarantee. Ladies and gentlemen, the loan guarantee is supposed to protect the lender so that they don't have to foreclose. Do you all understand that? And if they foreclose on the home, they receive back the consideration. Okay? They receive consideration. The bad part about all of it is, and I do really want to suggest it is the bad part, nobody ever said anything. Oh, that's right, nobody knew that the banks were collecting the insurance money. Oh yeah, that's right, nobody was talking about it. Oh, yeah, that's right, somebody did a video telling everybody that all homes are insured, and they knew it, and then they found the law proving that all homes are insured. And you know, and then they found the different ways they're insured by different agencies, and then how they have primary mortgage insurance, PMIs, and then you have the private primary mortgage insurance. So private mortgage insurance, PMI, and then you have the non-private or governmental mortgage insurance, which are the ones we name. Ladies and gentlemen, now that we're announcing that to people, do you think they're putting that in their lawsuits? Do you think they're adding that to their claim? Do you think they're coming at them for fraud, saying that they filed for the insurance? Which means that once they receive the insurance money, they have to return the home to you because they received the full payment, and they have to credit your account for the full payment because they received the full insurance payment, which means they reported the information falsely on your credit report and did not credit your credit report or your account? People, you must understand what this man is doing. He is bringing to light something that should not be brought to light, that they didn't want you all to know what's going on, which is why I'm doing this video, which is why I tell you I am tired. I took some medication to go to sleep last night. That's why the other video was cut short, because I wasn't going to be making any sense a couple of minutes later. Trust me, medication works really good. Lets me low off into sleep. And I was up at 6 with energy. I actually had the best night's sleep I've had in probably a year and a half now. Just last night. So we're going to come back and we're going to talk about Gene Elkins. And I assure you, my hope is to do exactly what Teddy Pendergrass just said, to inspire you to start going after these banks in regards to the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act and the Fair Credit Reporting Act for violating federal law. You all want to clear up your credit? Well, I'm going to tell you how I believe you should. Because not only with credit cards, cars, student loans, they're all insured. Every single one of them. And when they file for the insurance, they receive the par value of the contract, which means they've been paid, but they're not correcting your account. This is a national thing. And I'm glad I get to do this on video. So if any organization want to claim there's a whistleblower, I want part of those monies, because I am the first person to bring this to light. If you don't believe me, type it in YouTube. Type it in Google and see who else was talking about all of this. Gotta go. It's time for me to go. I'll be back though. Y'all stay tuned. Hey, Teddy Pendergrass is saying he gonna stay tuned too. I'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. It's not going to even seem like it's a long time. It's going to seem like a couple of seconds, because I'm going to blend these two videos together. Ladies and gentlemen, gentlemen and ladies, ladies and gents. You see how short that was? I'm back, and I even started us back with the wonderful Teddy Pendergrass as he talks about how much I am the latest and greatest inspiration. Inspiration to what? I don't know. But at least I'm something. Because Jesse Jackson told me I am somebody. All right. As we were talking about the conversation with the wonderful Gene Elkins and the tone that it took, he emphasized that the banks, under the normal course of business, forecloses on someone's home. Give me back my property. And then, what do? They apply for the default insurance or the loss damage claim because it's insurance. Wait a minute. Hold up. They can't do that. They don't have the right to do that. What makes them think they can sit up there and do that? Well, you do. Because you don't know how to challenge, question, ask. I am so sorry you don't. Sorry. I'm getting emails, and so oh God. Okay, we're gonna clear up that on this video too before I get off the line tonight. It's, as you see, it's 11:36, like I promised you that it was gonna be after 11 when I came back on. Now remember, I've been up since 6 o'clock. Okay, and I'm as tired as a dog. You know, they used the phrase, and I'm gonna continue with Gene Elkins and the mortgages. He says, I worked as hard as a dog today. And I'm like, I find that impossible to believe. I said, other than the Alaskan Husky, I've never seen a dog work a day in my life. I got a dog right outside, right now, right outside the front door, laying by the front door because it hears my voice. And I guarantee you, he has never worked a day in his life. So I don't know what he was trying to tell me about him working as hard as a dog. That's basically, he just lied around and licked it. I'm sorry, apologize, I'm sorry. Anyway, he's gonna laugh when he hears that, by the way. Ladies and gentlemen, let's explain to you what's going on so that you get it, because I don't think all of you get it. And so we're gonna do what we always do. When it's an important point, we're gonna pause Teddy. And so we're going to say it this way. Gene Elkins say that the banks foreclose on your home, and after the foreclosure, they file for the insurance for the loss that they received on the property. That is illegal. Why is that illegal? Well, first, they cannot foreclose on your home and take back the consideration for that loan, and then go and get the full value of the original note. Because why? Look at the profit they have just made. And your credit report is not reflecting them receiving those credits. So when they claim a total loss and they receive the par value, that is insurance fraud. That is misrepresenting the information. It shows up as misrepresentation, and they're not permitted to misrepresent any information. We've shown it to you, Codified CFR 1980. We've shown it to you, where they're not permitted to do that. It's under the good faith and credit clause, or good faith and credit section. Okay, they're not permitted to do that. But now, wait a minute. Let me tell you what else they do. Not only do they take the home, receive the insurance, but then they sell the home again. Look at the profit they're making, and they never credit your account. Fair Debt Collections Practice Act and Fair Credit Reporting Act requires that they do. So if you lost your home last year, lost your home 10 years ago, there is no statute of limitation for fraud. Well, can I be a part of your lawsuit? I had, who was my mortgage carrier? My mortgage carrier was Microsoft. That's right, Microsoft was my mortgage company. Can I be a part of your lawsuit? Ladies and gentlemen, this suit is open to everyone, not just people who had accounts with Bank of America, Citrus, or Ceteris, or Cunnington, or Covington, or this or that. If you want to be a part of it, we're going to do a video possibly tomorrow telling you what the lawsuit is about, what angles we're going at. We can't give you the details of the angles because we don't want to show too much of our hand. But we're definitely going to let the boys know that we're knocking at the door. Okay? Remember, nobody is talking about the insurance issue. Nobody. But I promise you, I'm going to keep talking about it. Why? Because I just had an attorney for the United States Department of Agriculture tell me that the banks in the normal course of business commit fraud. You don't believe me? Go back and listen to the conversation. Because I told him it was illegal, and he says they do that in the normal course of business. And I can prove to you that it is illegal. You don't believe me? Go ahead and look at the Uniform Commercial Code, Article 3, Section 501, Presentment and Payment. Go ahead and look at the Fair Credit Reporting Act. And then go ahead and look at the Fair Debt Reporting Act. And notice what it says about debt collectors, which the bank acts as a debt collector. And when they receive payment for that debt, they have to report that. But there's another issue. There's taxes to be paid on that income, because that's income. You see, when they sell the house back to themselves, that's income. They just sold something to themselves. But they don't credit your account. But it deals with the debt, does it not? So all you have to do is be able to articulate that. So how do you do it? Well, you file a lawsuit against them for violation of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act and the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Gramm-Leach-Bailey Act. Well, I've never read those acts. That's okay. You don't have to read them now. Technically, you should start reading them. But go online and type in, what's the most common violations of the Fair Debt Collections Practices Act? The most common violation of the Gramm-Leach-Bailey Act. Excuse me. Jennifer, go. Go. Keep going. Just like a child, she'll take 5 paces and then stop, 5 paces and then stop. Go. Sorry. She likes to come by me and rub up against me, and I can't stand that because it feels like something's crawling up my leg. And then what are the most common violations of the Fair Credit Reporting Act? Just that simple on Google. They'll pull out the sections for you so you don't have to read the whole thing. And you add that to your lawsuit. As charge number 1, they did this. Charge number 2, on or about this day. Because if you don't know the exact day, you put on or about this day. They did that. What type of damage are you looking for? I'm looking for recoupment and treble. Treble. Treble damages. Okay? Oh, and I'm bringing this as a common law rights complaint under the 7th Amendment. Well, not under. You don't ever want to be under the law. You don't ever want to be under the Constitution. And you don't ever want to be under an amendment. In line with the United States of America Constitution. Okay? In line. Or in accords with. But you never want to be under the law. You never want to be subject to the law. And you don't want to submit any petitions to the court. Do you understand? Because I hope you do. If you submit, then you are a servant. Now we can put the music back on. All right, ladies and gentlemen. The further conversation with Gene Elkins, I kept mentioning to him that the issue here is I want to see, because I guaranteed him that in the last 5 years I can find 5,000 homes that were fraudulently foreclosed on. At least 5,000. I even guaranteed him that. Well, guess what? Did he not tell me there's more? Because in the normal course of business, this is what the banks do. And look, Freedom of Information Act to Fannie Mae, Freedom of Information Act to Freddie Mac, Freedom of Information Act to the FHA, Federal Housing Administration, and just ask them, past 5 years, the records of all homes foreclosed on, and the records of all loss claims in reference to those foreclosed homes. That's, well, we don't keep a database like that. Shut the up. You know you keep a database. You see, this is the so-called wannabe government. They claim to be the government when they're not the government, but then they document everything. It's the government. That's how they can come after you for taxes, because they document everything. And you listed yourself as a taxpayer on some stupid paperwork. Shame on you. What you doing? Teddy, I'm going to let it go. Teddy said, all right, it's enough. Don't get on their cases no more. And I'm going to tell Teddy, hey, you all right, Teddy. I'm going to listen to you. Hey, thank you, Teddy. See, it's all about me. Hey, he better believe it. Nobody in this world like me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that deals with the Gene Elkins scenario. But I promise you, once people get this is my song, by the way. Once people get this, then they will understand. Oh, I know how you feel. I wanted to make sure this was I Know How You Feel, because this is the song. Nope, this is Ghosts of a Chance. Dang it, it sounds like I Know How You Feel. Anyway, yeah, Ghosts of a Chance. It sounds like I Know How You Feel, so they probably wrote the two songs right behind each other. Here is the whole point that I'm trying to get to your attention. If you start bringing up the argument that they collected on the insurance after they foreclosed on your home and failed to credit your account, and by the way, any of those profits go to you because the payments were for the home. Oh, by the way, once they received the insurance, they were supposed to return the home to you. But you didn't know that, did you? Well, they received the house was paid off. They received the par value, the full value of the original note. So they had to return consideration to you because they received full consideration. Now, wait a minute. Hold up. I'm going to stop it again. And no, I don't like that picture. That's not the picture I chose. That's the picture the system chose. So we're going to do our random. Yeah, it's supposed to be random. Dang it. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and bring this to a finite point so that you get this. When the banks foreclose on a home, when they sell it back to themselves, and then they apply for the insurance, and they receive the full value of that home, or they sell the home, however you add it up, they get more than the full value of that home, do they not? They're supposed to credit your account, and when they credit your account, that means they've received full consideration. They're supposed to return the home to you because the house is paid for. But what are they doing? They're not doing accurate accounting. Now, there are some people who are going to listen to this video and they're going to capitalize on this information. And I don't care. Because why? The information, the angles I'm going at, they did not think about. So they're going to capitalize and they're going to take the credit because it's going to make it seem like it's an original idea from them. but nobody's been talking about this. Go ahead and look at all the videos, listen to all the so-called gurus, and notice how none of them are talking about this simple thing that the banks are doing. We just had an attorney tell you that they're doing this, but you wouldn't know that if somebody hadn't been asking specific questions. Notice how he kept trying to change the subject. So now I get to articulate this in a lawsuit. Do you understand, ladies and gentlemen? This is what I do. I take their junk, I dissect it. I figure out what the parts are, what the pieces are, and how they go together. I figure out why the pieces are there in the first place. That mortgage insurance is not to protect them. It was to protect you from losing your property, because no one can be deprived of property without due process of law. And that's what's happening. People are being deprived of their property without due process of law. So after the banks foreclose on the home, they take the home. That was the consideration for the loan, was the home. Okay, not the value of the home, the home. Go back and look at the note. If you defaulted on your note, they could take the home as a result of that default. The default is supposed to be over. It's supposed to be finished. But they sell it back to themselves, and then they say you owe the difference because they didn't sell it back to themselves at the original par value. They sold it back to themselves at half the value. Why? Because they're not losing anything. They didn't actually buy it. They just wrote up some pieces of paper. No money changed hands. And then they sometimes, not all the time, they debited from your account showing or credited to your account. But you still owe the rest. Then they apply for the insurance claiming a total loss, the par value of the note. Let's say they only claim the rest that's owed. You know, like the house is worth $300,000 and they sold it for $150,000. They say you owe $150,000, and let's say they file a claim, a loss claim for $150,000. Well, now that they receive the $150,000, the house is paid for. Wait a minute. Wait, if the house is paid for, then how can they take and sell it again? Because they just received all of the monies and the house. Woo-hoo, these fools are getting over. Wait, hold on. There's one other thing that's going on. Wait, now they don't. Oh, they take and they sell the house for a huger profit? Wait, but they just received all these monies. Aren't they supposed to be saying that your account is in good standing, the loan has been paid off, thank you very much, have a nice day? Under presentment and payment, they're supposed to, because payments can be received by a third party and must be applied to the account, and it gives them certain time frames in which to do it. But they're not doing it. And this is how we kid them. This is how we slap them in the... Don't do it again. This is how we do that. Are you ready?
But I don't know how to file a lawsuit there, boy. And I just don't feel like, these are some pretty big banks, and they're got some pretty nasty boys. They'll send somebody to my house on December 24th, and they will shoot a gun at my house while I'm looking at them, and the bullet will whiz over the top of my house. Oh, I don't know what to do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's what they did. Go back. Listen to the video. December 24th, 2010. I filed a lawsuit December 23rd, a Friday, against the United States Post Office, $10,000 in small claims. I told them that they were a corporation, they were not part of the U.S. government. And then the very next morning, I'm standing, looking out the window, and somebody fires a shot. I'm looking at them as they do it. To show you that these were no amateurs, they picked up the shell casing. I didn't realize they picked up the shell casing until an hour and a half later when the police came. Because I told the police, I said, I saw him bend down right here. And I said, oh, God, he was picking up the stupid shell casings. Now, who does that? Who picks up shell casings? I've never seen a gang member go, hey, man, go back and get them shell casings. Nah, I don't give a, if it was a drive-by, go back and get them shell casings. They can track us down with them things. Ladies and gentlemen, regular, common, everyday idiots do not pick up shell casings. Military personnel or special forces personnel, on the other hand, they think about things like that because they know how they can be tracked and traced. And the fact that the police stopped that same vehicle less than 40 minutes later, and I drove by them as they stopped that vehicle, and it was the New Mexico State Police who stopped that vehicle, and 5 minutes later, I see the truck drive off with the 4 passengers. Nobody ever got out of the truck when I passed by. There was nobody standing outside the truck. The officer was actually leaning across the window. We just reported, notice this, that truck driving around shooting. And the officer, instead of calling backup, is talking with them one-on-one, leaning on the front door, driver's door. Didn't ask everybody to get out, didn't search the car or nothing. So when I tell you I knew what was going on that day, I knew what was going on that day. Was I scared? No, because I actually got in my van and tried to chase these idiots down. I don't carry a gun. I am not a gun-toting. I never fired a gun a day in my life except for a BB gun or a little Nerf gun. But I don't play with guns. I don't like them, don't want them, and I don't care. And if you are a Second Amendment person, shut the up, because I don't care about that. This is not that conversation. This is just me letting you know that that is why your names will not be on any of the documentation. The lawsuit will not be filed under the names of any of you. To protect your identity, you're going to be John Doe, Jane Doe. You're going to be honorary members of the Legal Redress Commission. So you're going to be part of the Legal Redress Commission. Ha, 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 ha. Anyway, that's how we protect you. Well, your name is going to be out there. You're right. My name is okay to be out there because my name has already been out there. They already know who I am. After this video, they're not going to appreciate it because that information I just gave you about the banks, again, nobody's bringing that argument. Go look at all the lawsuits. Nobody's arguing these points. But these are legitimate points. They violate all of the financial laws every single time. And we have an attorney saying they do this in the normal course of business. Of course, he will be called to testify. You better believe Elkins will be called to testify because he's an expert. That's what he gets for not calling me. I get to go after his job in a unique way. I get to call him to testify under oath. Now you figure out what attorney will testify under oath. All right. Next point. Yes, I'm tired. Been up, like I said, since 6, so it's 12 o'clock. Do you know where your kids are? This is the last thing that I'm going to mention, then I'm going to get off of this mic. I need to let you all know something. I was talking to the group, and we spoke earlier about this, so I'm going to speak about it again. The United States has full faith and credit. Now, we have the internet up, so let's see if we can poke around the internet for a minute. Now, we should have a bunch of windows popping up here. Like I thought, I don't care about web answers. I restarted the computer, so I wanted to see if my readersright.org loaded up correctly. So while that's happening, let's do this, because I told other people to do this, but I know nobody did it. No, it's not the right
'cause she didn't like parades just passing by.
This is not the right one.
So she pinned it on.
So maybe it did not upload like it was supposed to, but it said it uploaded. Maybe it uploaded to the wrong section. So let me check that now while I'm here, because that ain't gonna work. Now, although I like "Don't Cry Out Loud," but this is "I Know How You Feel" that we were talking about earlier. And as I told you, it's loud. So we do the same thing you do on the site. Just tap on that and it goes nighty-night. Let's see. FTP, forward that press. As soon as it pops up, it'll let me know where it loaded. I think it's just a matter of refreshing. As a matter of fact, I am disturbed by the fact that that did not happen the way I thought it was supposed to happen. Disturbed, I tell you. Well, we know you're disturbed. Oh, that's right. My phone, this phone, I have not loaded up Flash. So I can't get it on my phone. And because it is a Flash site, that's the problem. Where you at? FTP? We can get rid of you because you ain't going to help. All right. Full faith and credit, ladies and gentlemen. Full faith and credit clause is the familiar name used to refer to Article 4, Section 1 of the United States Constitution, which addresses the duties of states. Full faith and credit. Oh, that's right. I forgot it was part of Article 1. Interesting. It's an unconditional commitment to pay interest and principals on debt, usually issued or guaranteed by the United States Treasury. It says usually. Definition of full faith and credit: a phrase used to describe unconditional guarantee and commitment by one entity to back the interest or principal of another. Well, if the United States has full faith and credit, then that means that you have full faith and credit. And that's not what it meant originally, by the way. This is just what it equates to today. Jurisdictions must give full faith and credit to valid orders of protections. Full faith and credit. Ha 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 ha. Wait, full faith and credit laws? No. Well, this is the issue here, ladies and gentlemen. The rule is, look at that. It must be the internet connection. It must be that I'm on the internet doing all of this. I said laws and it pulled up the same thing. Dang it. Full faith and credit laws. Vanguard Law Firm. Full faith and credit clause, legal definition. Full faith and credit clause, Article 5, reevaluating the limits of full faith and credit clause. University of Hawaii Law Review. Let's go here. Now, why full faith and credit? Why are we even talking about this? Well, it works this way. If the United States has full faith and credit, and it borrows from the people under the public law. Matter of fact, let's pull that up. Federal Financing Bank, Federal. Yes, I spelled financing wrong, as I always do, but I don't care. I don't care. If I didn't care. Red Fox. And the Sanford and Son show. That was a dumb show, wasn't it? It was funny. I like Red Fox, but it was a dumb show about a black man who sells junk because he couldn't get a business started, but that was going to be his business to take him to the mountaintop because he was always coming to join Elizabeth. okay? We know why that show was put out there. Because that's all we could ever accomplish. That's all black men could ever do was sell junk, eat chicken gizzards, and chitlins, and pig feet, and hobcob, and blah, 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 blah. Stereotypes. The Federal Financing Bank is a government corporation created by Congress in 1973 under the general supervision of the Secretary of Treasury. The Federal Financing Bank, Department of the Treasury. Now, we're going to talk about Federal Financing Bank in just a moment. We're going to increase the size of this so that you'll be able to see it better. All right, let's increase it one more time. No, we can't go to 200 because that will be too much. So we can go to 175 because that won't be too much. Federal full faith and credit laws. Under federal law, a protective order issued by one state, okay, we know that one, known as full faith and credit, this federal law seeks to protect victims of domestic violence from abusers. We are interested, but not interested. Insurance. Interstate enforcement protection orders. According to federal law 18 U.S.C. 2665, each state is required to enforce valid protection orders that are issued by other states when the terms of the order are violated in its jurisdiction. Protective orders are defined broadly under the law to account for various types of orders issued by states, such as temporary restraining orders and non-contact orders, for example. To qualify, the order must seek to prevent violent or threatening acts of harassment against or contact or communication with or physical proximity to other persons. Key components of the law of this protection. We're not really looking for that, are we? Conclusion. There is a conclusion? Just because a protective order, not looking for that, are we? That's not what we're looking for. Because the full faith and credit of the United States does not equate to a protective order. So there is something not right there with that explanation. Explanation? Exponent. Go there, and then we zoom in. No, we can zoom in one more time. This is big enough. There we go. Now pay attention to this. The Federal Financing Bank is a government corporation created by Congress in 1973 under the general provision of the Secretary of State. That is 93.224 Public Law. The FFB, Federal Financing Bank, was established to centralize and reduce the costs of federal borrowing as well as federally assisted borrowing from the public. The FFB is also established to deal with the federal budget management issues which occur when off-budget financing flooded the government securities market with other offers of a variety of government-backed securities that were competing with Treasury securities, mortgage-backed securities, ladies and gentlemen, and other securities such as hedge funds, derivatives. They created the Federal Financing Bank. Today, the Federal Financing Bank has statutory authority to purchase any obligation issued, sold, or guaranteed by a federal agency to ensure that fully guaranteed obligations are financed efficiently. Ladies and gentlemen, I say we need to be contacting the Federal Financing Agency because they can purchase your obligations since you are a member of the public. And I would suggest people should be discharging their debts through the Federal Financing Bank because as a member of the public and the Federal Financing Bank being there to take care of the borrowing as well as federally assisted borrowing from the public. Sorry, my mouse doesn't work like it should, but I want you to pay attention. The actual law, 93.224, says this, that the government borrows from the public. Now, discharging your debt, Federal Reserve Bank? Nah, probably not. The Federal Financing Bank? Possibly. Latest release. And they give financial reports. Why? Because all corporations must give you the annual financing report. As a matter of fact, why don't we pull up 2012 and 2011 financial reports? Interesting. Allow. It says, do I trust this site? This is treasury.gov. I don't know if I want to trust this site. This site, wait a minute. I can't see it. Oh, recover web page. It didn't like me. All right, not going to be able to check the site. Says it's not responding. Captain, I think I'm going to lose her. Okay, not responding. Dang it. It's Flatline. No, not Dateline. Flatline. It's a new show coming out. All right, we're going to try treasury.gov one more time, but this is just me pulling up the information on the Federal Financing Bank and letting you know, since they borrow from the public and you, under your declaration of executorship, are a member of the public and one of the people of the United States of North America, you should be able to discharge your debt or offset your debt through the Federal Financing Bank. And because they borrow from the public and you're a member of the public, then there has to be an accounting with the Federal Financing Bank. More than likely, you may have an account with the Federal Financing Bank that you are unaware of. I cannot say it for certain. All I know is this is what I'm thinking now. Did somebody else give me this idea? Heck no. This is just what I do when I sit back and I think about certain things. Because as I was thinking today, I said, hey, self. And myself said, yeah, self. I said, hey, if the government is borrowing from me as one of the people, then I have the right to borrow against what they owe. Because you're going to pay what you owe. Okay? So that's the premise. Federal Financing Bank financial statement with independent auditors. Report. Their own report. Now, you do know that that's report, right? But it's report, the pronouncing. Federal Financing Bank, Table of Contents, Management Division and Analyst, Financial Statements, Notes to Financial Statements, Other Supplementary Information Schedule, Independent Auditors Report, Independent Auditors Report, Internal Control over Financial Reporting, Compliance, and Other Matters. Okay, this is the document. You know what I'm going to do with this document? It's only 26 pages. I'm about to download it. Well, look at that. That's not a lot of money. Increased by 10 million. Oh. Ooh. Look. 10,774,717,000 from 5 million. Do you see what they've done there? This is not in the millions. This is to the thousandth. Interesting. Interesting. That's interesting. That means that this is more than likely 12, 15 times more than this amount here. So we might be talking into the billions or trillions. But I don't do finances, so I just know that when I hear 1,000 after a word, that are after numbers that are in the millions, that this doesn't mean million anymore. Now notice this. I want you to pay attention. The change is primarily the result of 3,572,023. See, normally you see dollars, but it says thousand increase in loan activities to Russ. 1,000 increase of new loans to Doe. These are fictitious names. 1,000 increase in new loans to USPS. Oh, Department of Education. So, I don't know who that is, but yeah, Department of Education, USPS. New loans to the USPS and other loan activities. Banks' net position increase September 2012 from Well, if the bank has a profit, how come the people aren't getting paid back? All of the loans in the bank's portfolio are federally guaranteed and have a commitment to be full faith and credit obligations of the United States. Bank borrowing increased, 1,000, due to the increase of lending activities. Look, they say that all of the loans by the bank are federally guaranteed and have a commitment to be full faith and credit obligations of the United States. So if the United States has full faith and credit and they borrow from you, and I didn't know this was going to say full faith and credit. I haven't been to this page before, but remember we were looking up full faith and credit on the other page. It's everywhere. If they have full faith and credit, that means you have full faith and full credit. Conjunction, junction, what's your function? And your full faith and credit is an obligation of the United States because you're a member of the public. They borrow from the public, and they are there to protect the interests of the public and the people of North America, the United States of North America. What I need for you all to do is to start thinking about this along a different track, because many of you have been on the wrong track. Man, I ain't been on no tracks. I've been on the syrup. Whatever you've been on, you ain't been where you should be. Okay? Full faith and credit, 28 USC 1738, shall have the same full faith and credit in every court of the United States and its territory possession, which titles are positive. Whoa. Positive law. So there is such thing as positive law. I heard one group, who are they? Dang it. Team Law talk about positive law. I've heard Taj Tariq Bey talk about positive law, but here we actually have a lawsuit. I mean, not a lawsuit, a law that says positive law. Tribunal protection orders. Not looking, I don't care about protection orders. Full faith and credit. Look at that. I didn't even know the full faith and credit was a clause. Santa, you got company. I had no idea, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. Sorry, Anthony Hamilton. All right. And Jermaine Dupree. Let's get rid of that 20%. DOT is Department of Transportation. The wind is blowing outside, y'all. And for some of y'all in those more frigid areas, here in this wonderful place, I think we were something like 80-some degrees. What's the temperature now? 72 degrees. And it's 12 a.m. Y'all get kind of cold, don't y'all? No. Well, 72 degrees is cold. Nope. All right, let's read this law. Act the legislator of any state, territory, or possession of the United States, or copies thereof, shall be authenticated by affixing a seal of such state, territory, or possession thereto. Oh, thank you. The apostille. They're going to the Secretary of State and getting documents apostilled. The records and judicial proceedings of any court of any such state, territory, or possession, or copies thereof, shall be proved or admitted by other courts within the United States and its territories, possessions, or by assertion or attestation of the clerk and seal of the court annexed. And if a seal exists, together with a certificate of a judge of a court, that said assertion or attestation is in proper form. I have an act of state from Puerto Rico, Secretary of State, apostille, and it has several seals because a notary is a magistrate, and so it has several magistrate seals, and according to this law, they must recognize it. Ladies and gentlemen, I done stumbled across something without trying to stumble across it. Such acts, records, and judicial proceedings and copies thereof is authenticated, shall have the same full faith and credit in every court within the United States and its territories and possessions as they have by law or uses in the courts of such state territories or possessions from which they are taken. An act of legislature of any state, territory, or possession of the United States or copies thereof shall be authenticated by affixing a seal, territory, the records of a judicial proceedings. Not really interested in that. Such acts, recordings, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to give you this law. I'm looking for the full faith and credit because I haven't seen that yet. Give me 1 second. Okay. Let's give you this law so that you can 28 U.S.C. 1738 states, territories, statutes, and judicial proceedings, full faith and credit. It's actually called the full faith and credit. Interesting. Copy. We're going to save the whole page. This is how I do research, people. This is how I do research. Isn't it a shame that I found this without really looking for it? This is how we do it. Now, as I was explaining to all of you before, if the government has full faith and credit, then you have full faith and credit. That means full faith and full credit. Interesting. And remember, the government has stood as surety for the people. Just that simple. So, on your instruments, like I did one today, credit to, I think it was to the Comptroller of the Currency, United States Treasury Department of the Comptroller of the Currency, and it was for don't you do what I do, because I promise you, you'll get in trouble because you don't know what you're doing. You cannot do what I do because I've set myself up on certain other levels with the Treasury Department, the IRS, as well as the other entities and tentacles of the Treasury Department. But let's just say it was for 480, and I won't give you the numbers after that. And that went out today in reference to the mortgages. I sent out next day service to 10 different organizations today, including the Comptroller of the Currency, because I don't want anybody saying they didn't receive anything. Okay, so far just on mailings with the 17 mortgages, it's 1,025. No, I think it's 1,038. I haven't sat up here and calculated the math or added all the receipts. I just know that we're over 1,000 now as of today. 2 weeks ago we weren't. We're at close to 798 now. What today? The $200 we spent today. It's yep.
Oh, I know how you can do it without spending a dime.
No, don't want to go through any hassles because we're creating an administrative record. Because we know the angles we're going at in court. We just need to create the case file. Do you understand that we're putting a case together? And in order for you to put a case together, you have to fill the jackets. Well, we have them for not communicating, not responding, for violation of laws. And now, when I send out my new Our Style Money ordinance, are you going to put that up on the internet? No. Because the ones I gave you, so many of you are copying directly. Well, I won't do it. I won't copy what you did. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about all the other people who have copied exactly what I did, which makes it harder for me to use my instrument. Well, then you shouldn't be putting it up on the internet. Don't tell me what I should or should not do. It's not your business, not your place, not your choice. It's my choice. And if I choose to put something on the internet, that's my choice. Okay? If I choose to tell people that the banks are sitting up here collecting insurance after they foreclose on them and after they sell the home, which they're supposed to be giving back to the person when they foreclose, sell the home, and make all that money, and they get more than what the original value of the home was, they're supposed to return the home to you, and they don't. That's the consideration of the agreement. That just because they foreclose on the home, that is not the end of the agreement. Do you understand this? I hope so, because this is what we're going to be articulating in our communications from this point forward. Now, honestly, I've known most of this, but I just came up with the complete understanding today because I've had a moment to think. No telephone calls today about mortgages. I had an opportunity to mailing out all that paperwork, and that paperwork took me from Monday until today. 10 letters. 10 organizations, more than 10 letters. I think it was something like 28 letters, but went to 10 different organizations. And then I had to do an instrument, a promissory note for each one. Okay? Because I got a couple of homes that they really want to play games with. Well, how are you getting your promissory notes honored? Because I'm doing my promissory notes based on my full faith and credit. And full faith and credit is recognized by the United States government. Don't believe me? It's a part of the Constitution. It's a part of this 28 U.S.C. 1738. Okay? It's recognized by the United States government, United States Treasury, the Federal Reserve Bank, the National Banking Association, American Banking Association, which is they're called now. It's recognized by all the member banks of the American Banking Association. It's recognized internationally. It's recognized under UNICITRA. And again, if the Treasury has full faith and credit, you have full faith and credit. Interesting, ain't it? This is what I'm doing. Like I said, we're not going to advertise for the lawsuit. We have people asking us if they can be a part of it, and we're letting people know that, yes, they can be a part of it. We are saying that anyone who wants to be a part of it, but we will not let anyone dictate anything. We will advise you as to the progress of the lawsuit. There will be a specific website, YouTube site, will be private, so not everybody will be able to view it. Only the people with access will be able to view that site. And we'll have specific information for you so that you can know what's going on, so that you can be abreast as to what's going on.
Girl, I want to give you a special treat. You're so sweet.
Notice this. I get this email, ladies and gentlemen. The person says, I just stumbled across your YouTube videos and was wondering about discharging debt. Can you help me with this? And everybody wants to leave their number and their email address. Look, ladies and gentlemen, I'm not helping none of you. I got too much work. And this is my life. Look, I've been up since 6 o'clock, and here it is 12:30 or 28. And I really want to be asleep, but I know that the information I'm talking about right now is important, and I know nobody else is going to be telling you this, and so I want to get it out to you as soon as possible. That's why I'm spending the time doing this video now. Debt collection, that's all I talk about. But am I going to sit up here and speak to people one-on-one? No. The Legal Redress Commission will be doing consultations, and so yes, there will be opportunities for you to speak to several of us, to request to speak with several of us. But hey guys, I am not God. I don't walk on water, and everything I touch does not turn to gold. I have a lot of people thinking that I can solve all their problems and I can make the sky turn purple, green, orange, black, and yellow. Okay, I don't have it like that, ladies and gentlemen. My world does not operate that way. Okay? Do you understand that? My world does not operate that way. The only thing I can do for you is tell you what I know. But I cannot make anybody do what they're supposed to do. I can't make the banks do what they're supposed to do. Can't make the credit card companies do what they're supposed to do. But I tell you, my persistence and my tenacity, they can't stand that because I don't go away. But I thought originally it was supposed to be 10. I thought I could handle the 17. Too many. 17 is too many. Way too many. Oh God. So what is the issue? Well, we're going to start doing conference calls with everybody who's part of the lawsuit so that they can be brought in on a conference call, and we will give them access to the conference call. The rest of you will not be allowed on the conference call, and if any of the people who are involved in a lawsuit give out the conference call number, then we will change that number. And the way our conference call has been set up, we can issue a conference call, a separate number for each person to key into that one call. So we'll be able to find out who's giving out the information. So just so that everybody understands, the lawsuit, that information is separate from the rest of the information to the group. Separate. Okay? Now, my phone just told me I had 2 declined calls, and one of them was from Wells Fargo Bank. And now I got to call a youngster who lives in Florida. So he's the one that went to California with us. This is his 3rd time calling today. So I'm going to call him at 12:30 my time, 11:30 his time, to see what is up. Let the rest of you get to your day. We talked about the the full faith and credit of the United States government means you have full faith and credit, means when you write your instruments, you're crediting the organization, you're not paying to anyone. Credit to, not paid to. It's a credit-backed system. I told y'all that in the video. Hyven, the credit monster. I even reposted that video so that some of you would pay attention. It's all about credit and insurance. So once you understand that, go back over this video. Listen to the beginning. Go back over the video with Mr. Gene Elkins and notice what the conversation is about. Let that be your argument in court. Some of you are going to get this. Some of you really are going to get this. Others, hey, like I put in the intro, never going to get it, 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 never get it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, have a good day, have a good life, have a good night. But whatever it is, may it be good. We told you about the federal financing law. You need to read it. 93-224, public law. 93-224.
A redress right. Presentation. A redress right. Presentation.
Redressright.org. Redressright.org.
A redress right.
Redressright. Rolling.
Presentation.
Redressright.org.
A redress right.
Redressright.org. Redressright.org.
Presentation.
Redressright.org.
A redress right.
Redressright.org.
Presentation.